Yo, what's good, boys? So I know I haven't put out like a proper video like I promised in 6 months, but that changes today because I'm finally bringing you guys the long awaited Ozzy cat spam tutorial. Now, you guys have asked me to make a cat spam tutorial specifically for Steam for literally ages at this point, and I'm finally delivering. Now, I want to waste no time, just like the last tutorial, right? This one's for Steam. This one's more updated, more knowledge in it, more useful facts in it. Let's go. First off, the armory, what to use and what not to use. The primary category, your main three that you're going to be using, Deadly Icicle, Dragoneer, Ultimate. Okay? You can't go wrong with either of these. I know these two just got nerfed in the last balance changes. However, if you don't have Ultimatum, really solid choices. If you don't have these, don't even bother using something shitty like Viking. This is my first don't use. Do not use the Viking or any other shitty shotguns like it, okay? Just literally go to Stormtrooper Skeleton or Golden Friend. I don't know where you have. Here it is, Golden Friend. These two weapons are 200 DPS primaries with no delay. So you're going to be using them if you don't have a good shotgun, because these are better for getting a kill than this is. This will not do fuck all in close range. This will not get you a kill if you hit 2 direct headshots while hugging someone. This can get you a kill from across the map if you hit someone with your backup and you don't kill them. This will get you the kill, okay? So please, what to take away, use this. If you don't have this, use these. If you don't have these, use these. Really good. Okay, the backup category. Now, this has changed quite a bit since the last time I made a tutorial, because there's actually some good contenders in here. My number one pick is the Bloody Mercenary. Really good weapon, no delay, good crit damage, good wall break. The bleeding's, occasionally useful. Great fire rate, good capacity. Overall, amazing weapon, right? Really good for cat spam. However, if you don't have X mods, the Sparkling Horn and Exterminator are still, in my opinion, better options. Why? They deal 138 base damage, which means that they can one-shot headshot, and they can one-shot to the body with the Leader's Drum gadget. And these two are also just overall a better, more module-friendly pick. I know not everyone has X modules, even I don't on my backup weapon, So I usually tend to use the Sparkling Horn. However, the Hypno Hunter, which I don't have, and the Bloody Mercenary are two really good weapons. For the melee category, this category does not really matter. Use whatever you have that has the highest mobility or some sort of attribute that you want to use. Or do what I do, just use whatever you think looks the coolest in your loadout. I usually run Foam Sword because, it's a foam sword. Who doesn't want a foam sword, right? I do. For your special weapon, there are actually quite a few good candidates here. The No-Tick and the Cybercat Lantern are my two personal favorite picks, right, for safe, original cat spam use. However, the Laser Bouncer, if you want to melee switch, which I will be talking about and teaching you guys later on in this video, is also a very good, very adequate weapon, right? This weapon, I would say, is technically better than the other two. However, it is less accessible, unless you watch the tutorial fully and follow it. So I'm just going to rate it lower than the other two. I personally still like using the Cybercat Lantern. I just like having a melee weapon because I'm a special switch player, right? Bringing us to our sniper category. If you're on PC, get Inevitability, use Inevitability. This gives you 0 spread, which means that you can actually aim. Steam, I don't know why they did that with the Steam implementation, where they just completely removed the usability of snipers unless you scope in. Which I'm not fucking scoping in. No, fuck you. So I'm just going to use my ability, right? If you're not on PC or you're not like the other kids and you like scoping, literally any sniper with above 150 damage is alright, right? You can use anything. You can use this. You can use this. This is really good. You can use this. You can use the Hypno Pursuer is really good that I don't have. That sniper is really good. The Exchange is great. This is good. What's it called? I think it's called Cold Shinobi is a good one. Laser Bow is good. Anything, right? You get my point. For the heavy category, number one thing that I'm going to tell you, Pixel Caller Refresher. There's really nothing like this. Like, you just can't get better than the Pixel Caller Refresher for cat spam, right? It has great fire rate, great capacity, great attributes, and it has very good damage for what its attributes do, right? This weapon could deal like 1 damage and it would still be probably number 1 just because of its rocket capability. But it actually does good damage, so you can get kills with it as well. Another good option, in my opinion, would be Bombercat, even though it got nerfed. Still probably one of my favorite cat spam weapons. Pretty reliable. Dark Mage one is, you know, more of a budget choice. If you happen to have it and have nothing else, like, you can use it. Yeah, I mean, what else? The Arctic Soul Destroyer, if you want to be that guy, use this, but it has 0 rocket jump. The Destruction System is always a solid option, right? Lots of stuff to go around for the heavy stuff. Like this. You could even use this if you wanted to. Anything you want, it works. Over to the wear section, and I also do have a couple do not uses that I'm going to cover later, just for some emphasis, right? The cape editor is the best cape in the game, also followed by the PG hero cape and the maneuvering module. These three have the same attributes, which is the movement speed, jump height, and weapon damage, all increased by, I'm pretty sure, 5%. At least the weapon damage is 5%, which is one that matters the most. And if you don't want to use these, if you want to be special, use the Cape of Loyalty, because, I mean, fuck it, why not? This thing is also crazy. Apparently, I don't personally have it uploaded, because, you know, it's I'm not like that. And for the boots, use nature or veteran boots, which I unfortunately don't have. It's really, really sad, so I'm forced to use Stardust boots. If you somehow don't have one of those two, I would recommend getting first Berserk boots or Stardust boots. But I know that like 90% of the boots in the game are unobtainable, so you know you're obviously probably going to be stuck with these unless you have the nature or veteran boots already. For your hat, this one is unnegotiable. You need the Burning Tiara. I don't want to see any people in the comments saying, well, I mean, the King's Crown is pretty good. No, it's not fucking good, okay? Get the Burning Tiara. Upgrade the Burning Tiara. This is a good hat. You need this hat if you want to play the game properly, okay? Really good, unreplaceable in your wear. For your armor, veteran armor is obviously like way above the rest, but if you don't have that, which I doubt most of you do, because, you know, it's still fairly new, and I don't think all the people have like the 500 hours to get it. Inflatable armor is probably my #1 choice after it. The cash armor is pretty much the same thing as inflatable. It's just, you know, slightly better because it has the reduces damage from backup weapons attribute. And the developer armor is always a good pick if you have it. This is also the same as developer armor, I forgot to mention. But yeah, you know, aside from that, UDA and Black Dragon are just not good for cat spam because the jump and mobility is just not there. For gadgets, we're going to go with your Biotic Shield for throwing. However, you can really use anything for throwing. I just prefer Biotic Shield because it helps me escape the Cyber Bee Swarm, which is really fucking annoying. So if you are also on the same page with me, you find them annoying, use this, plop it down, get rid of the bees. Don't stay in it though, because that's gay. We don't want that. Tools, you would want to use the Leader's Drum. There is no argument for using anything else aside from Leader's Drum. Remember, this is a cat spam tutorial. I don't want to see any motherfuckers in the comments saying, well, I mean, like the jetpack, right? No, not the jetpack. Use the Leader's Drum. 25% damage amplification for 17 seconds. You just really can't get much better than that. It's literally just your skill plus this, and it's just, you know, wham bam klabam. It's like 20 kills. You know, nice and simple. For your pet, if you have this, use it. I'm sure just about everyone that plays the game knows what this does, right? I don't have to explain it. If you have it, use it. And that is our armory section done, except I do want to go over a quick little couple of things over here, right? So number one misconception: do not use these. If I can find the laser cycler, that's also one of my examples, right? So yeah, don't use these weapons. I've been in the PG server for about a week now, just like monitoring some conversations, right? And I'm seeing a really concerning trend of people just giving absolutely horrendous advice and telling people to use laser cycler or fucking TikTok pistol or anniversary alien blaster for cat spam. Don't use these weapons for cat spam. They do nothing. They're not worth switching to with the category. The entire point of cat spam is that every category has a potential of getting a one-shot kill with your drum. These do not have a potential of getting a one-shot kill with your drum. So don't use them. It is not worth the delay attribute, which I'm sure many of you are going to be commenting about. But in like literally 5 minutes, I'm going to teach you how to completely ignore delay altogether. So that's going to be, you know, just useless. But just please, listen to me. Just don't use these weapons, okay? One more little... I mean, I don't really know if you could even class this as like a misinformation, I guess, but don't use fixed delay weapons. I don't know who the fuck like came up with this and why anyone's agreeing with it, but the last couple of days I've seen people vouching for fixed delay weapons in cat spam, No, no, don't use fixed delay weapons. They are not good, and they will not help you out. Okay, so specifically the sniper section I'm talking about. If you're using a sniper with fixed delay, you are cooked. Please uninstall the game. Now, we can get to covering delays. So we're back in the polygon now. I'm really starting to feel like the old tutorial, right? But I am here to teach you guys about delays. Now, I am actually going to go into my armory and pick up a little weapon that's going to help me teach you guys about all the delays. But if you don't already know, Pixelgun 3D has a system for its weapons in which they receive and give delay. And the delay that we're talking about here is a pull-out animation. Now, if you've played this game for long enough, you might have noticed that when you shoot one gun and switch to the other, you can't immediately shoot that other gun. There's a small pull-out animation, and it's annoying, and it's weird, and you see people going gra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta with their weapons, you're like, what the fuck are they doing? Are they hacking? They're not hacking, okay? What they're doing is melee switching. Or if they're gay, they're just using no delay weapons. But melee switching, my good friends, is where you can go from one delay weapon to the other and negate delay. But before I teach you about this sacred technique of Pixelgun, I need to teach you about the delays themselves. Let's go through them one by one. Number one, the most common and arguably most annoying type of delay is fixed delay. What this essentially means is that no matter what you do with this weapon, the second you press your bind to pull it out, it's going to have a pull-out animation, and it's going to give a very slight delay to where you can't immediately shoot it after pulling out, right? The best example would be like literally every melee weapon in the game. Most heavy weapons, most weapons in general that get released nowadays have fixed delay, except for snipers and backup weapons, right? Obviously. You want to be avoiding these unless, like, for very, very, very small exceptions, one being the Pixel Caller Refresher, which has fixed delay that's about the same amount of time as, like, this one delay altogether. And if you do have a fixed delay weapon in your loadout, it's probably like a really short delay shotgun, or maybe just, your melee. I personally just run a fixed delay melee because it doesn't affect my gameplay specifically, but just avoid these at all costs, okay? The second type of delay, and the probably most occurring, is 2 delay. In other words, these weapons have 2 delay traits, which means that they both give and are able to receive delay. Now, what I'm talking about when I say this is you notice that, okay, so two delay weapons, right? Ultimatum and inevitability. These weapons can both receive and give delay. So what that means is when I shoot this ultimatum and I switch to my inevitability, as you can see, there is a delay animation. Why does this happen? Well, it's because my ultimatum gave the delay animation and the inevitability received it. Now, if the inevitability couldn't receive a delay animation, then that delay would be negated. Just like if ultimatum couldn't give a delay animation, then it would have been negated. Now, we will get to that in a second with our next delay category. But what you need to know with these weapons is that just don't go from one to another, okay? There is a strategy to doing that, which I'm about to teach you after this. But just make sure to put a special weapon or a weapon with maybe short fixed delay in between, right? The best example of this, I shoot my ultimatum, I go to my special, shoot that, and I go to my sniper, shoot that. As you can see, no delay, no calibration. So the next type of delay is 1 delay, and I guess you guys could probably already tell what this means. The weapon only has a single delay trait, which means that it either only gives or only receives delay. Now, a great example of this is the laser cycler. Now, you'll notice when I switch from the inevitability, which is a 2 delay weapon, keep this in mind. When I switch from the inevitability to the laser cycler after shooting, the laser cycler has a small delay animation. However, because the laser cycler only has the ability to receive delay, when I shoot the laser cycler and switch to inevitability, there is no delay animation. Why? Because laser cycler only has 1 delay. So now, I know it's a bit confusing, and you might have to rewatch this part a couple times, but you can probably understand, and with some of your knowledge that you already have, how the delay system works, right? And there are workarounds to most things in the delay system, which brings me to the most important thing you will ever learn playing this game, which I'm about to teach you in 2 nice and easy, fluent steps that are easy to learn. Melee switch. Now, melee switch is the act of going from 1 2 delay weapon to the other 2 delay weapon without receiving any delay. Because as you guys can see, right, these are both 2 delay weapons, by the way, the sparkling horn and the inevitability. But I can do this. As you can see, there was no delay animation there. And if you caught it, if you were quick with it, you would have noticed that what I did was melee switch. As you can see, I switch from my backup weapon to my special weapon for a very brief duration, and then to my sniper weapon. However, unlike what most people might tell you, this is not as simple as just shoot, switch to this, switch to this. That is a 3-step process that is very easy to fuck up and very hard to learn. Instead, I'm going to teach you my 2-step process that is nowhere else on YouTube that will make this so much easier to learn for you and will make it consistent, nice, sharp every time. Use your FPS to your advantage, by the way, because this is way easier to master on Steam than it was on BlueStacks if you play Black and BlueStacks. So, the 2-step process here. The second I shoot my... And by the way, you can do this from any delay weapon to another delay weapon, right? I can start from my ultimatum if I wanted to. And as you can see, I'm onto my inevitability, right? I could go from inevitability to ultimatum. I could go from ultimatum. I can do anything I want. But here's the process. Here's the process. So what we're going to do. The second I shoot my sparkling horn on my first 2 delay weapon. The second I shoot this, I'm going to tap the bind for my special weapon. So what that's going to look like is this. As you can see, I shoot it, immediately tap this. And then right afterwards, you're just going to tap the bind for your sniper without shooting your special weapon. If you do this correctly, you should barely even be able to see out your special weapon, right? It should basically not even come out at all. As you can see, you can't really see my special weapon. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Now, do keep this in mind. You can't do this too fast because, as you can see, if I do it too fast, you know, that happens. And that is the best part of the 2-step process, is that this usually doesn't happen just as long as you have, you know, a little bit of timing, which you can just practice in the polygon or like a game. So fully sped up, it looks like this, right? I'm gonna shoot, switch to special, and then a sniper. Shoot, switch to special, and then a sniper. But. As you can see, nice and easy. You just want to establish like the same amount of distance between you tapping each button, right? So try to make it like, I mean, maybe you could make a noise with your mouth or something when you're first learning it, right? Obviously, it becomes muscle memory once you've learned it. But I think when I first learned it, I just kept going like bang, 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 bang. Nice and easy. It's not that hard. And this strategy will basically allow you to completely ignore delay in your loadout and do whatever you want. This means you don't have to crutch on weapons like Harsh Punisher. You don't have to crutch on weapons like Laser Cycler. You don't have to listen to the weird people and weapons and loadouts telling you what to do. You can just do whatever you want with your own weapon. There is also another playstyle called Melee Switch. Like, the whole playstyle is called Melee Switch, in which you do this for each individual weapon switch. So, if you've caught on, this means that Laser Bouncer is a 2 delay weapon, by the way. For literally every switch in the loadout, I'm doing a melee switch. This is a very hard playstyle to do consistently. I mean, obviously, once you've learned it, right, it's a bit easier. But, it's very rewarding, because you do actually get to do way more DPS. You can hit headshots with all of your weapons. You can get one-shot with all of your weapons. This is a playstyle that I don't recommend doing, you know, when you first start, unless you really challenge yourself. But for now, I would say just stick to a simple 2 delay, no delay, 2 delay loadout. So the best case of that, in my opinion, is the Sparkling Horn, the Cat Mountain, and the Inevitability for PC. If you're on mobile, or if you're just using the quickscope method, any sniper is good, right? But that is the basics of delay and melee switch. Now we can get to some in-game little tips and tricks that will help you like truly get really good at cat spam. Alright, so we're in a game, and the first thing that I immediately want to let you guys know, just in case you haven't watched my last video, when you are cat spamming, try to always be moving backwards, or like specifically when you're targeting people. Now just watch this gameplay for a second. You will notice 2 things if you're truly watching closely, right? Number 1, I am almost constantly moving backwards when I'm aiming at people. And number 2, I am almost constantly walking diagonally when I'm aiming at people as well. Because if you didn't know, walking diagonally, this is a really complex thing to actually understand unless you have lots of experience actually playing the game. Walking diagonally helps you lock people and helps you actually like aim without aiming, if that makes sense. Because if I just press W and S here, I have to do a lot more mouse aiming, right? And obviously my mouse aim's good, so you can't really see the difference here. But it's just way less consistent, easier to choke, and it's just easier to slip up. It's a less consistent playstyle. If you're looking to literally miss like nothing, the best #1 strategy that I always recommend to everyone, and that I did cover in my last video, is diagonal backwards movement. I'm going to show you what I mean in this next game. But essentially, what you're going to try to be doing is from your movement buttons, WASD. Whenever you're targeting people, try to always be doing either AS, so as you can see, left backwards, or SD, which is right backwards. What this does is, and I'll show you from the roof here. Now, as you can see, I'm not going to move my mouse. Bang, I just hit that player. Now, I just hit that player again. You don't need to move your mouse. And with a tiny bit of mouse assistance, this puts the load off of your mouse and mainly onto your movement, meaning that you are so much more consistent when switching. And you don't have to like go crazy on the movement lines. You can just hold them while your fingers do all the switching, and you're relaxed. You know, you don't have to like stress about aiming with your mouse. It's nice and consistent. It's about crosshair placement. It's about just slight little micro adjustments and target switching, right? Because cat spam is not supposed to be about tracking. It is supposed to be about target switching. And the best way to optimize this for yourself and maximize your aim in game is to just walk backwards diagonally. Number one tip I will ever give, walk backwards diagonally. If anyone asks me, okay, good. Walk backwards diagonally. You can watch hours of my gameplay and you will consistently notice me doing this one thing. It always works, and I can promise you, if you try this out, you will notice an improvement as well. Just make sure that you're not like taking me too literally. Like of course, like you don't always want to be walking like backwards diagonally. Like you know, what the fuck? Like what do I even do? But the second you see multiple targets lined up, as you see, I'm literally just going diagonally. I don't even have to move my mouse that much. I just move it next to them, and I line it up with my movement. As you can see, moving next to them, line it up. Moving next to them, line it up. Yeah, hacker that. Moving next to him, line it up. Moving next to him, line it up. That easy. It is nice and simple, guys. I swear to God. But this makes it so, and this is specifically for consistency here, right? When you're first starting out, you obviously won't be able to do this because you won't have like the switching speed, you won't have the aim consistency. But just always keep this in the back of your mind, okay? Moving on to my next tip, and that is to have a tempo. I see a lot of people in the Pictagon server always talking about, oh, you know, I have to cat spam this fast, oh, you know, I'm a fast cat spammer, blah, 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 blah. And they're usually talking about going at a ridiculous speed like this. Like, no, please don't do that. Unless you're in a ridiculously packed lobby with like 10 real players that all have radio, you do not need to be cat spamming at that speed. Cat spam is slow but consistent speed. Now, I know this isn't exactly slow, but when you do this, you can establish a tempo. Now, I'll do it in this next slide. Let's just get myself situated in this house. I'm gonna go 1. You know, the more targets I have on screen, the easier it will be to demonstrate. Now, you will notice, and I think the best way to use this is use your kill streaks as a metronome. Now, you will notice when the kill streaks come up on the screen, they kind of display like a bang, 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 bang. Now, you're probably confused on what I mean by this, right? So let me get a couple kill streaks and I'll show you what I mean, right? So pay attention to the noise it makes. Bang, bang. Like, you see that? Follow that as your metronome and shoot at that pace. This will make your mind take the equal amount of time between each shot, which means you're going to be way more consistent and way less like overwhelmed. You're going to be able to focus on the movement more. You're going to be more like calculated. You're just going to have a better time handling multiple targets at a time. Because this is all the cat spam is about. If you want to be really, really good at this playstyle, you need to be able to just wipe people off the map like they're fucking popcorn. Bang, 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 bang. As you're seeing in the gameplay here, I'm just taking like the minimal time for each shot. It's going nice and stable. This does not necessarily apply as heavily as the last tip, right? You don't need to be doing this always, but if you're in a lobby with a consistent amount of players and you always have multiple targets on the screen, just, you know, go at a stable tempo, you know, so like, even between your shots. If you miss a shot on someone, don't just go, oh, I need to hit the shot. No, because you're probably not going to hit that shot. Take your time with it. Follow the metronome, follow a tempo. This is going to make you more consistent, and it's just going to make it easier to play the game overall. Now, onto my next tip, and probably the final tip for the video, is at how to actually move, you know, while cat spamming. Because I find a lot of people struggling with this, and the movement just ends up being pretty flat. Diagonal movement, it does help out with this. However, I would recommend having maybe 1 to 2 binds on your movement fingers, and having the rest of your binds on either your thumb or your pinky, or, you know, something that your middle 3 fingers on your hand aren't using. And you know, obviously you'll find that it might be a bit hard to get used to, you know, if you're used to some binds. But once you do this, once you optimize your binds, and my binds my binds aren't even completely optimized, by the way. I don't even play like the most optimal set of buttons to be playing here. I still use plenty of fingers for like movement, just to actually switch on my weapon. But once you do this, you'll be able to focus a lot more on movement and a lot more on like lining these shots and using your movement. That'll just make it easier to play CATSPAM with, because that's like the number one like strain that people have. It's like, well, what the fuck, how do I switch when I'm using blah, blah, blah. And in truth, it's really it should all just fall into place, and it's a matter of like practicing. But you will eventually be able to pick it up and be able to finally beat those meta fucking cheats cash gun in the lobby. I've said this consistently, but CATSPAM is the #1 playstyle pixel gun, and that's not because it's broken. That's just a skill. It's the only playstyle in pixel gun to actually incorporate a significant amount of your raw skill into it, which means that as a payback, if you can actually do it correctly, you're going to be getting basically win after win. It's going to be effortless, right? You're going to be tripling your opponent's kills in most cases, because they're just not playing as efficient of a playstyle as you. And to maximize the efficiency of this playstyle, to make it the most consistent, make it so you post the least, please follow the tips that I just gave you. Alright. Now to outro out this video, I'm actually going to show you my binds and maybe offers like some bind suggestions for Steam. I know a lot of people will struggle with that. I still get asked what my binds are, and, what binds you do every day, sometimes on the stream. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, let's quit this match, let's talk about it, right? So, number one, the one thing that I recommend all of you to do is bind one of your weapons, specifically an important one. So, for an example, maybe primary or, they call this premium? Oh, damn, okay, right, that's like OG. Your primary, heavy, or sniper category, bind it to L shift. Now, I have my sniper on L shift, but L shift is the best bind in pixel gun, and really just like the best bind in general, right? It completely free of your movement keys. You don't even have to move your finger to use it. It's a really massive key, so it's hard to miss it. Your pinky finger already rests on it, right? This is the perfect bind for something that you need to be able to pull out like autonomously. So for me, that's my sniper. For you, it could be like your primary weapon, it could be your heavy weapon for rocket jumping, something like that. Number two, I would recommend binding V, B, or C. These are your thumb binds, and these ones is where your thumb basically naturally rests, right, aside from your spacebar. For me, that's my rocket jump weapon, because conveniently, it is next to the spacebar, which means that I can nice and efficiently use it. Like, it's just, nice, it's convenient, it's like muscle memory, right? So the second I pull out my heavy, I'm already there, I'm already at the spacebar. It requires no thought. I could even miss my heavy bind and still rocket jump, right? It doesn't even matter. Now, number three, and I don't actually use this, so I might be a bit of a hypocrite here, but you would want to use, preferably, Q and E for your weapon binds, because these are easier to reach and harder to miss than your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just use 1, 2, and 4, 5 just because I am so insanely used to them, and I've been playing these binds for about 2 years at this point. But for you, if you're just starting out with 3CATSPAM, I would highly recommend using Q, E, okay, R is for reload, but if you want to rebind it, R, F, not C, X, and Z. I think those are a bit like impractical, but you get my point. Any of these binds, really good, but the two that you mainly want to be focusing on is L shift for one of your important weapons, and V or B for another one of your important weapons. I just recommend B. It is nice and easy to reach. It doesn't really like mess up your finger placement or anything. But yeah, aside from that, that is all I wrote for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this did help you. It's really just recycled some of the tips from the last video. If you want to go watch that, it's a deathmatch tutorial specifically for deathmatch, assuming you already know CATSPAM. And at the end of that video, I promised that I'd make a dedicated video on CATSPAM, and this is exactly what that was. Your main takeaway from this video, number one, learn melee switch. It's super important thing to learn, super convenient thing to learn. Like the second you learn it, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? How have I not known this the entire time? Right? And it's a cool thing, being able to just switch from delay to delay, right? Like, holy shit, I have no limits now. Second thing you should be taking away from this video, probably my personal, like, if I haven't already preached it enough, backwards diagonal movement. Hella consistency, hella aim, makes it so you don't have to use tracking. You're not inconsistent with tracking. You can just use micro adjustments and target switching, which are way more consistent. They lead to you just like bang, 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 just deleting the lobby, okay? Like, if you've ever seen, if you're ever on my screen and you see me just fucking wiping people from the surface of the map, that's how. I'm not individually aiming at them with my mouse like most of the time, right? Sometimes I will, but most of the time I'm not doing that. I'm lining up the shot. So actually, I will give, just before I end out the video, this part's really important, right? When I aim at someone, about 75% of the time, I do not aim directly at them, because that makes it easy to miss. I will usually be on a diagonal axis to someone. I will never really be facing someone straight on when I shoot them, unless it's a bot. This is actually this makes it easier to miss, if you guys didn't know. Because from a physics perspective, there are less places you can miss when you're looking from a diagonal angle, right? But what I'd do, let's take an example on this guy here, is I would place my my crosshair next to him and then walk into the shot. So as you can see, right, let's say this is an example. I just rocket jumped. Okay, I missed that. I'm rocket jump. Bang. I just rocket jump. Bang. 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 As you can see, that's all movement. I'm barely moving my mouse there. Only for slight micro adjustments and slight target shifting. Right? You'll still need to aim. But if you are consistently moving in one direction and you know your movement speed, this will make it borderline impossible to miss. I swear to God. Once you've actually like gotten the feel for it, which will take like a couple hours of place time. If you're completely new to the game, it might take like a couple hours. So this will make it borderline impossible to miss. I swear to God. Please use that. But enough yapping from me. Please enjoy your time in the game while we have it. I mean, I know a bunch of people are making videos about how it's the fucking end of Pixel Gun, and I kind of agree, with what the devs have been doing. But yeah, I just wanted to say, sorry for being absent content-wise for so long. I do always stream, of course. You can catch me on a stream if you want. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, with nothing left to say, please subscribe, and a like on the video would be appreciated. And as always, comment down below if you have any questions, and I will also be posting my Discord server in the link of this video if you want to join that. I might even just put the link up on the screen right now. Not that anyone's gonna follow that shit, but why not? And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye.